Yeah. There we go. Hopefully that's not too bad. Controller. I need to go through and change all the booleans. Find reference, floor. So I've got detecting floor. Monster juiced, yo! Hello. I think that can stay here. That would be fine. I need to clean this up because it's a bit of a mess. See if we can do that now. What on earth? Let's move this over here. I've already done a little bit of changing it around. But I might have to do a little bit more depending on what we need. Cool. Put that there and we'll reroute this. A little bit tidier. Why is it not selecting all of it? Let's do that there. Just going to clean this graph up and then we're going to take a look at what we can move over to gameplay tags. Should be fine. I could do with a custom event that fires off on here, which would clean that up as well, which would be handy. Just working on a project. I'll keep you on my second screen. No worries. Monster Juice, that's expansive. This is just one graph. This is just the climbing graph. We've got multiple in here. So we've got the event graph, we've got teleportation, we've got smooth locomotion, rotation, shift movement, flying movement, climbing, hand snap, permanent timers, grabbing, spawn hand menu. We've got a whole bunch in here. So the character control is pretty excessive. Although what I've done is greatly reduced how big it actually is, which is really cool. Although that could be reduced more. Respawn. Might actually have to keep that one as the base character, I think. Might be able to put a string through it actually, and just load it that way. which would reduce it down. But I've changed a lot from the last time I had a stream on the GDXR template. I haven't really shown it because I was unsure whether it was going to work or not. But I've basically redesigned the whole thing. So I've done a lot of changes to how it's set up and then how it runs as well. Oh, Jan, hi, welcome to the stream. It's Arcab from the Discord. Oh, nice. So yeah, it's pretty excessive that I've got here, but it all works now and it's all functioning really well. So the file size is really small. So if we have a look at this size map, the character controller is only 7 megabytes loaded into memory. I could probably reduce this down, but we need a reference to the grab component, so that's all going to be fine. This one could also be removed probably, but the player now is really small. So we've got a base character. So the player itself that's spawned in is only 1.8 megabytes. I like the new hands. So I've separated it all out. So what happens is the character controller spawns in, and then what that does is when it spawns, it actually spawns in a player character that it's going to possess. That it does here, so it spawns the character in, and then it allows you to swap that out. So we can choose from a base character class, and then we've got Manny and Quinn, so we can customize those. So Manny spawns in, and he's only 1.9 megabytes when it's loaded in memory size, so it's really small, but it does load in the base class, which is 1.8 as well. So the character is only 1.8, and then when the character spawns in, it actually spawns the hands. So we've got full customization and control over it, and then you can have different presets. And if you're from Unity, you can have different prefabs. And the hands now are only 7.9 megabytes as well, and you can see what's loaded in, and then how it all works. So when you're building it to mobile, it's incredibly small, and it works so much better as well. The motion controllers as well is split out now. So if I go into here, the motion controllers are only 5.9 megabytes. So depending whether you're using hands or motion controllers, instead of having everything inside the player character, which is what we had previously. So if we loaded up the base character, this hierarchy was quite large. It had the skeletal mesh hands for left and right, and then it had motion controllers, and it had widget interactions, and it had all of that stuff all in here. And it was kind of unnecessary. So now the player character graph, ignore the replication. You weren't meant to see that. It's supposed to be a secret. Then we spawn those in, and we can have everything else. So it spawns in, it's all unlinked, so there's not really a hard reference for the whole thing. And we can modify what we want and change those out. So let's say Manny, we want that to spawn in. We could just go into here, and then we can change which class it is mainly. So which one we're going to spawn in. It's going to be Manny. And then this is the hands. And then we've got the hands to use as well, so we can change those out, and we can have full control over it. And then if you're planning on doing multiplayer as well, it's also owned by the client. So it's owned by the character itself as well, which I'm not going to dive into the multiplayer stuff. But yeah, basically I've redone a whole bunch of stuff and reduced the file sizes down dramatically from what they were at, which is really nice. And it runs really well on the headset as well. I've also redesigned all of the screen fade logic. So the screen fade's not done by a sphere on the head anymore. It's now done by an actual UMG widget, which is in front of the character. And that is all animated as well, which is super cool. Fade. So we got a widget which goes through and then can play through it. Game instance has been redesigned, cleaned up and tidied up, and I've just done a whole bunch of basically maintenance on it. I spent the last 2 or 3 weeks before I killed the PC, just redesigning it all. So you can see here that spawns in actors, and it's all done through soft references. So if I go to blueprints, game instance, size map, the game instance is only like 1.8 megabytes. And then we've got the same save game character settings, which is like a megabyte. and then everything else. So it's really good now. I hope people like it when it comes out. But we got a couple of things I've got to work on. That one I have to delete. Um, but yeah, so I've been in the process of moving over to gameplay tags, just to clean up the character settings stuff, so we can set default options in here based on what we're using, and then go through that. So we're just gonna have a play around, a tidy up, add a bunch of other gameplay tags that we need, or we might need, and then we can go from there. Was doing the character controller combine graph, and I was just going through here, checking all my booleans. This is the auto climb. Disconnected this whole section, and now I can't remember where I connected to. I think it was in here. I was also rebuilding the climbing, so the climbing mechanics to try and remove some of this excess code, which has been good. Um, that doesn't really need to be a gameplay tag, I don't think. We're not going to read it from anywhere else. Should be fine. I might have actually already set it all up. I thought I had more to do. It's possible I broke something, so we'll boot the headset up and then we can have a look. Feels laggy. I did redo it. I'm not using Airlink. Let's see if I can get this set up. YouTube's telling me off about bit rate. Should be okay though. It's perfect to have upcoming projects specifically for mobile VR my client needs. Yeah, it's just about optimizing as much as possible for what you've got in the scene. Um, this update might not be out just yet because I've got a bunch of more stuff I've got to do. Yeah, we see here that I've got the hands or the controllers by default. So if I open up the menu, and then we've got a hands, motion controllers, and then hands. It actually unloads the other ones. Ooh, where's our left hand? That's not good. Let's investigate. Spawning or collisions. It should be the same. Spawning control right there. Complete. Yeah, actually worked. I think we can, oh, we're not going to see it. Zero. Left. They are spawning. They're spawning in fine. So So I've been working on this game where I track the velocity of my wielded weapons, and the higher the number, the more devastating the hit. Part of the our ninja assassin stealth again. Nice. Ground hook, hide the shadows, listen carefully to enemies and stuff. So with some dishonored inspired abilities like blinking forward and expect the velocity of your swords to be a huge number of close gigantic devastation to your targets. Wicked. Or just so I can give you the system, should be a template for one. Google anyway. Nice. Yeah, you should be able to put it in there. I've changed so much of this template though that it's not really recommended to just add to an existing project if you've got one. It is going to be easier to use this as a starting point and then to go through that way because, like it is, I have changed a lot of it around and the hands and stuff do a lot of different things now. But the benefit with this is, let's say you want to add physics to your hands, you could just duplicate the base class, and then you can actually set that up in here and just spawn it into the player, and it'll just work for you. So it's one hell of an overhaul that should make life a lot easier for you. Um, if I can figure out why we're not loading in the left hand. Might be this. Left hand is valid. It destroys the left hand. Let's have a look, see what happens here. What have you done? This is because I'm streaming. It was working fine before. Let's see if I grab. Put no inputs. Hmm. Spawn control. Okay. You should only need the one. I also need to fix this, redesign it. Fine. We know if we're firing both of these, we were getting the result for right and left. So let's do this and we'll see if we're actually getting one and see if it's just not attaching it to the player. No hands have home. What is it because I'm doing this? If we spawn hands and spawn left controller actor is already set, then it means we've got the other hands on, and then we delete both. If not, we go through like so, and we spawn in the two. We are getting both of them. I could see it there. We are origin. Always spawning no collisions. This is annoying because I had it working. We are spawning both of them. We can see the names in the top left. Let's see if inside the character. Oh, I've also moved the grabbing to the character as well, the character controller. Uh, Duration for one frame. That wasn't reading anything. Yeah, we should be getting. I was messing around with input actions the other day without my headset, so I wonder if I broke that. No, we're getting the grabbing. I'm wondering character hand is in object as being set. I wonder if this is clipping with the character capsule and it's always making it true. Yeah. So if I just deselect that now. What? If I press the grip, like I'm climbing. What on earth have I broken? I updated. Oh, I updated the default engine to INI. So what happened was I opened the old one, and because I had enabled Oculus plugins and stuff like that for testing, it filled up the default engine INI file with a bunch of commands that were just kind of pointless. So earlier today, I went through and I redid all the project settings with a brand new engine INI file. Um, so if I open it up, I don't have a copy of what it used to look like, but if I open it now, you can see it's quite clean. Like this is the custom collision channels, but everything else is set to the default that you would normally get with the VR template that comes with Epic. So we got the same settings. The problem is, I think what's happened is it's changed my collision profiles, so it's now overlapping with the player, and that's causing the problem. Um, which is an issue. Automatically setting it to climbing. As soon as I grab, we're seeing climbing as true. I think it's detecting the player. I think I'm technically climbing myself. There we go. And then I can't detect that. Oh, the left hand's doing it now. Right isn't. Left is. And now I'm in flying mode. Want to juice for that? Or we need to feel weighty and interactive. Oh, cool. David, hello. You're chilling in front of your work. Is Oculus 2 being supported by GDXR? Yeah, so any headset that supports OpenXR. So yeah, basically any headset that is available in the market is supported with the GDXR template. We're not using anything special, so just inside of the plugins, the only thing that we have enabled is the OpenXR plugin, eye tracker and hand tracker. And we're not actually using the eye tracker or hand tracking. We're just using the OpenXR, so it's a default standard. So if you've got other headsets that aren't the Quest as well, you can then work through that, and you can get it to basically work on anything. So yes, I hope that answers the question. You can use this on anything. It also works on PSVR, so you might have to change a little bit if you need to, but you can add custom inputs for that. There's people who have got it and they've used it on PSVR. You just need some stuff from Sony to set up the inputs. Dark Lord, hey, can we ask a question? Yeah, of course. I'm a patron if it helps. Thank you. It does help. It helps a lot being a patron. Helps a lot. Right. What have I screwed up so badly that it's not working now? Inputs. We're getting inputs. We're not getting the hand, the motion controller. 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 Yeah, now that's we've got the grip. It's defaulting to climbing. If I broke climbing VR-based character. The last thing I did, I went out earlier, and before I went out, I changed the climbing to use the gameplay tags. So character movement, enable climbing is true, then we can go through. But climbing should be false by default, which means that in the grabbing, this is detecting world climbable on the player and then firing it through, which does mean screwed up the character. Screwed up here, actually. They are interactable. Ignore. Not that one. Should be ignored. It's the body, the player's body is reacting to it as well. That is the pawn. Character mesh. We don't have one, so that's not going to be a problem. Teleportation's not working either. Grabbing's fine. All the weapons are gone. Broken. Or missed. Alright. Once you sorry, I might have to get some shopping. See you soon, man. Good luck. Thank you. It's been extremely valuable. Sorry to hear about the recent health problems. That's alright. Sure best. Thank you so much. 2012 that XR done destructible walls, incredible great, but I made also window actors and door actors. How can I get to see the game world through a window, not pass through just the level streamed outside the world without a window, just like seeing it through the whole the destructible wall. So it's just a level stream. So behind when the game loads, it loads a level stream behind the world, and then you can just see whatever you put behind it or put in that level stream. If you're on Patreon, there's videos on there, and it should show you how to set that up. It isn't a bit of an older version of Unreal, but it is still functional. It's still functional, so it should work for you. And you'll be able to get that set up as well. Now I need to figure out why. By detecting the player, world climbable, VR interactable. Project settings, world climbable. Have it on ignore everything. That should be fine. Set up yes, but somehow the windows I made I can't see through the freaking wall as they place over the actual wall. Oh, you would need a custom mesh. You would need a custom mesh to do that for the fractures around the window. You could have it set up that way, or you could try and do a kind of, I can't remember what it's called. There's like a screen buffer or something. You can use a render, so there's a camera behind it and it renders onto a plane, kind of like a portal. And then that would allow you to see behind the wall while you're shooting through it. But other than that, I'm not entirely sure on another approach because the wall stuff doesn't have to be fractured inside of Unreal. You can create a mesh that is placed on the in the environment and then have it work that way. It's just about getting creative with how you set it all up. But doing the wall stuff's not a simple thing really. I break this. It's definitely collision related. If I remove that, feeling we would still be able to do everything else. All the weapons are gone. These gameplay tags I've broke a lot. Right. Set the world final. These should be hand collision. That might explain the problem. There we go. That should a little bit fix the problem. And that will be because I added the new gameplay tag. Um, this one here, climbing. Don't think I removed it. Enable climbing. See if we can fix one thing at a time. Remove gameplay tag. Remove that. Remove the gameplay tag, climbing, and then in the event graph, this one here. That's gameplay tag climbing, and then we don't want to do this section. Track movement. I can't remember how many times I do it. Okay. Problem. Update this and then remove the tag. I need to remove the tag and then update movement method. Right, so we do that. Let's try this. Is going. Okay, well, I'm the cool dev on Patreon. Wrote you there. If you maybe know approach, address something that's my message. Couldn't really hear you, so I'm gonna cut out. Yeah, no worries. I'll have a look through tomorrow, and then I'll be able to see if I can find something that would help. There's quite a few people having the same problem of setting up like portal windows. So I might need to take a deep dive into it anyway and see what we can get set up. Okay, so we remove the gameplay tag and then we update movement method, which fires this one here, and then that read as a movement method. I was playing with this earlier. Did I break something? Looks fine. Although movement type, I think I changed that. Tools, point reference. Yeah, that should be fine. So we are doing track move. High GPU. How can I have high GPU loaded? UPC. Dennis, hello. Welcome to the stream. Good to see you again. Movement. Post through. Am I enabling flying and then no, I don't think I am. Go through that fuck and then we go step to step finding movement method. Step finding movement method. Enable climbing. I might open. Thanks, man. You're a great dad. Thank you. David, do you do on-demand works? Yes, but my time is pretty small right now. Um, so you can drop me an email, and then I can try and get back to you. And then if you can give us as much detail as possible, so there's links on the YouTube channel with information on it. So if you want to reach out, you can do it through that. I don't normally get Discord messages, just uh, just so people are aware. That movement is flying. What's your email? There you go. These tags have messed up. As gameplay tag, this is going to be movement mode enable climbing. If we have enable climbing, then we can move. So enable climbing would need to be true, which means the VR game instance, we have enable climbing. Then in here, check to see if we are climbing. If we are not climbing, we remove the mapping context, we set the character flying. Thank you very much. I'll be in touch. Do you charge too expensive? It's going to be entirely on the based on the project, but I do have a day rate that I go between. So I've got a range for a day rate, and then it'll be depending on what kind of work you've got, and then what you need doing is, and the deadlines and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, just email me, and then I'll have a look, and I'll get back to you if I can. I typically get back to everybody, so should be absolutely fine. I'm going to open up an old version of the template just so I can double check my climbing logic. Um, I think I said you everything. Thanks, load template. No worries. Honestly, the more information you can provide in the template in the email, the easier it is for me to often give you a more accurate quote. You have this here. Is climbing. False. Add. Gameplay tag is climbing. So that should be fine for that. And then release we do is climbing. very end, I have update movement method remove is climbing. So let's do that. Yeah, that should be it for the gameplay tags. So the question is why, when we let go, is it not bouncing back up? Not calling track movement. That should be false. Flying mode is false. Now go from thing. Don't know where it's gone. It was all working. And then we fall back down. Tried replacing this earlier. Have I messed something up with this? Hmm. Object capsule height. Control character. That should be valid. I'm quite confused why it's spawning left hand but it's not touching it. Right, that didn't fire. This didn't fire, which is fine. We should see this say hello. Why is it only falling when I didn't have character controller set? When did I change that? Be valid. It's valid. Or the naval climbing. That is the wrong one. What is climbing? Little small. It didn't reset, so I'm not removing a gameplay tag somewhere. These climbing hands. That's pretty neat. If we're releasing the climbing hand, then it means we're climbing. Did I need that double bug? Um, New gameplay tag, enable climbing. I'm pretty sure if I remove that, it should remove that is climbing. That's set the character capsule. Do that if we remove it, doesn't it? Okay, so that worked. It just didn't update the character height. It's climbing to false. That should be okay. And then without it climbing. I update movement method twice in my old logic. That seems a bit excessive. We remove the gameplay tag and then we update movement method. Is climbing true? That's fine. Well, I had it before the set capsule. I don't think that's going to make any difference. Gameplay tag. Remove gameplay tag is climbing. Um, I was playing around with this a couple of hours ago. It's possible I've really screwed something up, but it all matches the logic I've already got. Track movement, check if we can fly. Is it that? Am I getting taller? Hmm. Oh, I've really messed up somewhere. Nice. Controller flying. Fine. I should be fine. Stuff set back to normal. Can we see if we can find any music? Um. Oh, I just missed. Hey, Jonathan. Jonathan, I wanted to ask you what your thoughts on the new camera access on the Quest. Have you looked into it? Doesn't seem to be available for Unreal yet. I haven't actually seen anything to do with it. Last week was kind of a mess with what I was able to do. Do we actually have camera pass through, or is it just the video from Dilma where it's like send the video to a server and then go through there? I'm pretty sure we don't have access to the the camera pass through. Because we have the pass through layer, we've got the pass through API layer. Just lose it in here. Pass through of a link, that stuff. But Deegan, hey, but welcome back. How's the new machine treating it? It's doing really well. Today's the first day I've actually been able to test it out. I've got a new hard drive I need to put in and install Windows onto, so it's got its own dedicated hard drive to run from. But other than that, it's working pretty damn well. It's quite snappy too, especially if you have a look at the stats that I've got, which is pretty sweet. Um, when will it be mixed throughout the videos or stream? I've got some coming up. Um, I'm trying to get someone to edit videos and try to improve the workflow that I've got. But right now, it's just about getting time. I haven't been too well, so trying to keep up with everything has been a bit nuts, and especially with the computer exploding last week, was a bit of a pain. But I do have new videos coming out. I want to do 5.5.4 version of the meta series that I've got on the Patreon. I want to take a dive into that and set it all back up with some other additional content and take a look through all of that as well. I'm trying to see if I could set up a course, build like a game course for the Patreon, but something that I can maybe put up on Udemy as well in the future, which I think would be cool. So it's just taking a little bit of planning. This doesn't come up unless you change the drop down to Unity. Right now, you have Unreal on the meta developer docs. Actually, looks good. The head cam it's doing weird things when you move fast. Yeah, Unreal. It's telling me that my stream current bit rate is too low, so it might be lagging out. But I'm gonna try and get a new camera soon, and then sort out OBS so it works a little bit better. Gotta go to Unity. I can't tell if I can hear a crying child or a cat. Let's do camera. Is it? Starting this document of being released an experimental feature. This experimental API allows you to start building and testing experiences using the pass-through camera API, but Metastore will not accept any product that incorporate this experimental feature. This feature is provided on an as-is basis, subject to all applicable terms set forth in Oculus SDK license agreement. Right. Pass-through camera app access will not appear in settings once camera access is granted. That is really distracting. With access must be uninstalled to revoke access. Building on top of the Android API, Android Camera 2 API, this release introduces new features to pass-through camera API, which provides access to a forward-facing camera on the Quest 3 and Quest 3S for the purpose of supporting computer vision and machine learning. Okay, cool. So it's a bit like the Apple Vision Pro. You've got to enable it, and it only works for industry stuff. This API is distinct from the Media Project API, which supports casting from users' POV and should be used for the purpose of presenting what the user is seeing, including the user interface. Okay, it's just camera access then, but you can't really do anything with it. You just get the camera. I don't know why we really need it. The machine learning could be fine for scanning objects and doing machine learning and stuff like that, which would be fine. But other than tracking physical objects, I'm not too sure where you would use it. The only thing that I believe they should add is QR code tracking. Lock down the camera API so we can't access it, and then make it available so we can track QR codes. Same as what the Vive Focus 3 does for its LBE system. I always call it LBE, but I don't know if I'm saying it right. Location based entertainment, that's the one. So this, do it so we can track images on a wall and set that up. But I'm not too sure that I'm not really too sure that we should be getting access to the camera API, to be honest. Especially with the fact that people put stuff on SideQuest and then install it. You've got no idea where that data is going. Exactly that. It's QR code tracking. People have been using it with Quest 3. Yeah, yeah. It's the only thing I can think of that would make sense. It's just QR code tracking. If you set up QR code tracking, you can use the headset as like a whole different level of stuff. Imagine going to an art gallery and just tracking a QR code on the wall, a bit like a Google tablet. It would be so much easier to work with and set up. Like I had a meeting earlier today where we were discussing it, and this would have been so much easier to deal with. But there's part of me which is also concerned about its use and whether it's going to tell you, like if you download a game off SideQuest and then you install that app, is it going to tell you that that app is taking your camera and recording data from it? I imagine it will, but it's still concerning. Like, can you imagine downloading a game and not knowing whether it's recording your house? Kind of creepy. I think I'm more concerned for the fact that people don't read stuff when it comes to downloading pirated games, or and not pirated games, or like side-loaded games. People don't pay attention to it. So if you're just clicking through, it's just going to be like installing a virus. It's a new Android permission you need to enable when app starts. See, that's not as bad then. But even then, sometimes kids don't think about that. They just hit accept all. Like, there's been a talk in the Discord about Gorilla Tag, and it seems to be getting popular again for some reason. People keep dropping in. But like, imagine that the dark side of this is you give your kid your VR headset, they download a version of Gorilla Tag off the side quest store or something that's made from by somebody else to do something else, and they're not going to read it. They're just going to say, "Oh, the camera. Yeah, we need to use the camera to scan the room," and they're not going to think about it and go from there and then just enable it, and you don't know what they're recording. So really, the problem is side quests. I think in my opinion, the problem is going to be side quests regulating this stuff, but it's also on parents as well. Yeah. I think just as a parent now, I'm just so weary of how things are being used and what's going on with tech. Just concerning. Yeah, you need a certain level of trust with the developer when downloading anything with camera access from SideQuest. Yeah, you wouldn't, but kids would. Like, a kid's not going to care about what they do. Nobody reads the terms of service. It's the same when downloading an app. If their school friends tell them to download this app off SideQuest so they can play it together, they're just going to do it. They're not going to care. Right, SideQuest is a big issue with this, but Meta seems to be very cautious about proceeding with this stuff. Meta can be cautious legally, but it doesn't mean that the feature's still good. Like, as a developer, I don't understand why we need access to the camera API. They could just have a level somewhere that does QR code tracking. It's the only thing people have ever bloody asked for is QR code tracking with it. So that's all we need. Like, if you register your account, you do a Meta developer account, you register as a business, they have your details, and you have to upload it to some lockdown version of the Meta Quest store to be able to access that camera pass through, then that would be easier. Because you could say, okay, it's only going to be emailed to these specific people in your dev group that can use it. Whereas this way, if you build it as SideQuest, and it's like you can use it internally, you can still send an APK anywhere if somebody's got developer mode enabled. Digging, that's weird. I always thought there was QR code tracking like mobile apps have for AR. Why not Meta? Meta don't have one. We haven't been given access to the camera until now, as Chris has pointed out, and now we can start tracking QR codes. We haven't been able to do it previously. Because it hasn't been a thing. So yeah, like a couple of weeks. This is an old one asking for it. Yeah, 2022 you couldn't access the camera directly, so we couldn't do it. But it's the only thing people want is the QR code tracking. Um, yeah, I don't know. There'll be scenarios out there where having access to the camera could be helpful, but I don't really agree with it. There's workarounds. There's ways to deal with it, but the QR code tracking is all we really need. Like, I know we can do QR code tracking on Android tablets and stuff like that, and it's kind of the same thing, but Don't know. I think it's quite limited when it comes to what you can process on a phone through them. I don't know. I'm probably just going over it too much. Um, you should watch Dilma's videos on it. Learn XI is a very good explanation of capabilities and even does an example. Yeah, like once we get it in Unreal, I'll take a look into it and we'll definitely take a look at the QR code tracking, but I probably won't touch anything else with it. Um, yeah, we definitely don't have anything like that now. Install MetroXR plugin. Where is it? No, we don't have it. To be fair, it doesn't bother me. I think most scenarios you can use AR tags. So you use tags to track stuff in a physical space well enough. So it's not much to worry about overall. Where have I got that hello? You'd be the first to explore it in the Unreal Engine context. Every video has only been going over it with Unity. But yeah, even the QR code stuff you did show on that, I think will be immensely helpful. Yeah, there's plenty of projects I could do for client stuff with QR code tracking, which would make life a lot easier and development a lot faster. So as soon as it comes out for Unreal, we can take a look at it. But until then, there's not really much I can do. What's spawning the left? We're getting we're getting the left and right hand. That's fun. Don't need to change anything here. What would cause this to fit? What control spawns the base class? That's the fine. Resource left. This is working. I don't know what's going on. I do not know how I broke it. We don't have a left hand set. There we go. That's silly. Let's figure out why I can't teleport. That's on your radar now. Yeah, yeah, I'll keep an eye out for it. And we'll see when it comes out what we can do with it. Or is it? That was defaulting to true, wasn't it? Constant firing. Be handy if I put that in. Right hand in objects. Oh, yeah. The gameplay tags allow us to access them from anywhere and make things a little bit easier to understand. Setting them up can be a little bit more difficult, which is a shame. Application. Game is not paused, then we're fine. If we do not have hand in, not have hand in wall on, we're not setting smooth over more and teleport. So we can teleport fine here. This which isn't working. setting. Move up the motion control application. We have this. I haven't set it up with the menu to pull the save settings in, so this is going to stay the same. For now, anyway, just so I can set that up. But the question is, why is it not reading the switch? VR game is this gameplay tag container character settings. You're going to be able to go through, read it, enable movement. Fine. We know this bit works, but this switch on gameplay tag container doesn't. I renamed the gameplay tag container before the stream, so I wonder if that is the problem. Do that. VR game instance, we have it set by default, and we don't remove that anyway. I want to not gameplay tag container is not working. Gameplay tag not working. True, but we have the tag. But it's not. It doesn't be switching. Do I need a default pin? Gameplay not. Got the gameplay tag functionality thing. I was using regular tags before, but I read that is no longer best practice. I'm trying to do a switch on gameplay tags, but for some reason it does not work. It's the base item blueprint with the gameplay tag container. There's a lot more research about gameplay tag container interfaces only work in C++, which shouldn't be right. Which one gameplay tag container is very wonky. No idea how it works. Which only works on exact match. That might be the problem. Although they are an exact match. As I should be fine. We're not getting something else to go through it. You create your own switch using a macro that tests a parent tag. What does it mean by parent tag? Like when your own videos come up. What's the Why do we need exact tags? That's going to be doing the exact same thing as what we've got. Hmm. Really annoying. I don't see why it shouldn't work. They are the exact tags. I haven't got any other information in here that it should use. Once they have to recreate this, what God using this forum is just crap. Why can't I just do a search for switch on gameplay tag? Switch gameplay tag. For each word in the search in the page is a tag or something. Then when we were just I could just do 3 of them. I'm just gonna do that. Do a select. What is it? That's annoying. That's really frustrating. Don't even. I'm not even calling them that. Use that. You know it's gonna work. You need that. Although it would work. Frustrating. The step visibility. Shift open option. I feel like that's just an unnecessary level of complexity that's added. It's quite weird that a switch doesn't work otherwise. It works. I can always revisit it and change things around. This is the guy that we need to change now. This is what I've got. I've currently got an enum which runs through the movement type. And I added them as gameplay tags. think I could just turn them on and off if I need to. But now I'm wondering whether it's actually easier to just keep it as an enum instead of having individual tags, and whether it would work better. Character controller. Um, we just get it from the save game, so we can have a mixture. What I would already have. Gift movement, smooth motion teleportation, and that does clean it up quite a bit, and then it still functions correctly. It's using a hybrid between the game instance and the save game, which is what we had previously. You know, when you start using something, you're not too sure whether you're overcomplicating it. You need to change flying because that one does. This is where the gameplay tags would have been handy, and now I don't have a setting for its flying. That's what I could try and do. But all wax. Yeah. All gameplay tag. All gameplay tags. Here. Tags to remove. Go through there. complete. Find result tags. It's to the for each loop. Gameplay tag container. Gameplay tag struct. Same one. Um, I'm trying to figure out whether I can just remove them in here. So remove all gameplay tags. Like before that. Move to a variable. Movement method tags. Shift, smooth up motion, teleport, and then teleportation. That's all 5. So we loop through all of those, and then we see if we can actually remove tag. We'll remove gameplay tag structure. Convert that to a structure. To me, that's the same thing. Gameplay tag structure. Gameplay. If that's the container, and then we need to loop through to remove the tags that we want to remove. Wait, we might be onto it. Movement by the tags, and then we can loop through it. So we remove all the tags, and then we add the gameplay tag. Okay, change movement methods. That's the tag to add. Need a switch. Oh my god. Do that. Let's see if we can do this. I'm using the climbing in here. We'll add it in anyway. So that goes through, select, and then we update settings. Oh, this is gonna work. I've got no idea what's gonna work. Settings changes the movement type, and then this pulls it through. Copy this here. I'm going to leave the music off because it's probably going to get demonetized otherwise. We're not going to be going for much longer, I don't think. Look through the mapping contexts to see which one we've got. Teleport, shift, smooth little motion, flying, climbing. Fine. So we need to check. We just this will be, if this works, this will be quite interesting. Please work. No, we're adding more. And we got all of them at the same time. Moving the old ones. Two, two, four. See if this does it. If we only had one movement method, it would be absolutely fine. Wouldn't have to worry about it. But because we can change between so many, you need to try and set that up. These in. Let's see what happens with this. Still do it. Change movement back. If we don't fire that on begin play, teleportation again. Hmm. I feel like I'm on the right track. That's the thing. But I seem to be going in the wrong direction. Let's have a look. How long are we doing? 2 hours. Okay, well, 4 for 1's firing. But if I do the menu, do it work? It works partially. That game mode, question is why in the menu is it defaulting? Kind of worked. So there's something else somewhere else causing the problem. So now it's working. It's strange. So we can plug this in here and then we can read out whether it's actually getting the smooth locomotion and teleport, which we should get. Yeah, so we do get that. Input mapping context climbing. It's adding the climbing, which is probably what's causing the issue. Um, there we go. That did it. I can figure out that later on. That seems to be okay. Player has the gameplay tag. And we go through. Does not have the gameplay tag, then we remove it. Why I keep opening that? We got that. We need this one on start. Basically has tag. See, doing one is fine. Right. Character settings. Gotta change the name. And then this doesn't work, does it? Need to output index. Okay. To for each loop. I think we need a custom. I think we need to do that custom macro. Mm. And then we know we've got 4 movement methods. Zero. We want to give it all blueprints anyway, so it shouldn't be too bad. This is the first macro I've actually built into this. Make array. Input in. We loop through it, and then we'll say tag. Tag container. Oh, not again. Gameplay tag container struct. Gameplay tag struct. Do that. Let's do exact match. Let's see. True. 4 to do index. I'm wondering if I could just actually have the array go straight in. Yeah, a container. To there, and then variable tags. And then really need to have this the same methods, the same order that we have here to work. Um, tags. Let's try this. Mode. So the first one is going to be teleportation, followed by mode teleportation, and then shift locomotion. Smooth locomotion. Yeah. And with flying. Because this is local to this blueprint, so we can set those and we can loop through them. And then we can output based on which one we've got. The one we press play now, hopefully, in the menu, it should say smooth locomotion and teleport. Smooth locomotion and teleport. Excellent. And then that's the one that we've got working. If I go into the VR game instance and we say movement method, character settings, we're going to enable shift locomotion. We might not see this work because it might have broke the shift movement stuff, but I can no longer walk around with the right and then I've got the teleport on the right. Excellent. If I open up the menu, settings, shift movement. It is working, kind of, almost. Like it's changed logic around. We've got a lot more code than we had previously, but it means we can actually have more control over it. The gameplay tag for use camera direction moves. Direction. Vision multiplier. That could honestly do with changing to a integer maybe instead of using the enum. But it's going to depend. Cool. Stuff set up. I feel like I got headphones in, but I don't. Character controller teleportation just isn't working because of this. So just copy this. Just standard macros. Just crushed it now. Man is going crazy. Come on. Is the stream still going, or have I crashed that as well? There we go. What would it be under? Be a switch or a select? Mm, Gameplay tag container select. That should be okay. To see the monitor so I can see it. Output. Body output. Jet. Rate index. We have tags to search. That should be okay. And then we need to make sure this is an array. And then what we can do is tag container. Container to check. Description. X against the current. Oh, there we go. So now what I can do in the other one is I should be able to actually delete this and then search for GDXR. Why can't I search for it? I should just be able to search for it. Because I'm trying to add it into a UMG apparently. I seriously can't do that. I thought I'd be able to have more. Okay, let's just forget about that then. We'll just recreate the function. I'm going to have to redo it now for a third time. I can't remember where I was putting it. Is it in the character controller? Yeah. Get rig, gameplay tag, container, gameplay tag structs, gameplay. All in here. Rig tags to search, and then we've got tag container to check. To check, and that is just literally tag container. Container. Cool. You, and then you. And we have outputs. Body outputs. And the array index. That is just an integer. And then we have another execute pin, which is going to be loop. Should have just kept it Neon. I think I honestly should have just kept it Neon. I'm honestly wondering whether this is worth doing. I guess we'll find out. I think even though we're searching through the array, it might actually work a little bit better. I don't know. I feel like I'm trying to predict the future for what I can do and then what we can set up as well. Don't know why I'm getting taller. Why am I dropping there? Taking another nav mesh. Okay. Where is the movement stuff changed over to gameplay tags, which was more difficult than expected, a little bit more complicated than expected. Confusion. And then what I'll do is I'll delete that. I'll delete the folder, and then I might just call it for today. PC knows what it's doing. Solo on YouTube. adapter. There we go. Be it. I can figure out what's going on with the player height and why we're taller than we need to be, which I think is something to do with this bit, but I don't have. A recent version of the GDXR template, where I might have that info in it. That's the one I'm currently in. This one. This might actually have that bit of code so I can compare it to see what I'm doing wrong. Keep this one open. What's the time? Oh, 10 past 8. Yeah, we can fix this really quick and then go from there. This is why YouTube's not happy because it's just lagging out. That's why I need my. And everything is exactly as it should be. Okay. Didn't do it. Further and further away. That's a big problem. but it only happens when we change settings. Settings update, updated movement methods. Is this one? Probably check if we can fly. Big, tiny. Hopefully. Nice. That worked. Cool. So we changed around the whole movement system to use gameplay tags, which is excellent. Exactly what we're after. So I think that's a good point to leave it at. Just need to test some other stuff and then improve some other stuff, rewrite a bunch of other stuff, and then go from there. Cool. All right, everyone. I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna leave it there. I think it's a good place to leave it since we got it all back up and running and working. And then I will see you next time. Bye, everyone. Bye.